that there's two places you can put your stats requirements, and if you don't put anything here, proc means if you don't put anything after this, it always print 5 stats to your screen, which is the number, basically simple count of stats, and max, missing, or max and minimum, and I believe one is mean and the standard deviation. This is the 5 default things you always print out. And of course, output is kind of a statement. You need to put output space then out equals to certain data set. So all 5 stats will be output to certain stats data set. And these two things basically work. Oh, by the way, variable is kind of required, so we know which one data is actually need to print out. But we still have examples that if you don't specify which variables you're using, basically it can still work out. So they will use all the numeric variables to try to print out, generate all these 5 stats and output into the data set. A little bit confusing thing is what you want to specify. So here we have an example. That's where it is. Frequency summary means. Okay, here is a very quick example of what you want to put. So here, if you don't specify anything, means it will print on the screen, and also output your print the results into a data set, give a name of results. And of course, you can specify where or what you want to print out. For instance, here you give no print on the top. No print means that you don't want to output the stats into the output window. However, you want to save the results into a stats data set called results and give a different name there. So it's kind of combination if you set mean, and then because mean will directly look at variables, and it will name the mean of height, mean that underscore height, and the mean of weight, the mean underscore weight. That is, this variables is defined by you. It's not just exactly look like that. It's kind of easy to read. However, it doesn't matter. You can give any name to these 2 variables. Apparently, if you define max or give a max number as well. And one thing kind of interesting is that you can always specify differently. So what you want to print on the screen versus what you want to print out into the stats data set could be different. So that's why you always need to specify things. For instance, give a quick example here is that, let's see. You can run this, print out on the screen of all the data set we have, and going forward here, we can specify, for instance, here instead of no print, we have a mean and a max, and here we have minimum and miss. So we specify here, and we run this. So immediately you can see if you specify on the top. Here proc means is minimum and missing, and you will get a result from the output window. So exactly give you minimum and missing data there. However, remember that in the output source here, output results, you have mean and max. So if you look into your stats data set here, you have a results, and click results, you will find the variable you required already being reporting to the mean height, mean weight, stuff like that, in that order. So whatever you required in the output sentence will be put into the stats data set. And what's above, missing and minimum, will be put into output screen. That's just how things work differently. Of course, if you don't specify something there, it will print something different. If you don't specify what output you want to look at, for instance, we just comment this out, and you can expect that all the default 5 stats will be printed into the SAS dataset. However, it specifies above, which is almost similar. You can still see in the SAS system the mean procedures will print the minimum and the missing variables, and in your dataset you just get all 5 of them. So for these 2 variables, you got number as a count, you got mean, max, mean, and standard deviation of these variables. That's why. So type and frequency is kind of useful things. It will be interpreted differently in the different procedures. So typically, type is a combination of if you want to use or not use. Basically, if you going forward, we can see we will give an example of what the type means. Frequency is the same thing. It's basically how many data points we're going to use. Here it's always 6 because for calculate all these stats, for calculate all this ST, AT, and score. So this is the name. So for calculate all the stats, we use all 6 of variables. So going forward, it might not be the case. We'll always use 6. We will give examples going forward. So that is the basic structure of the means. Of course, we can do a little bit more. For instance, we have missing value here. So what